The minority, led by leader of the side, Dr. Kesel Atufosin. They are certainly not happy with the governor of the Bank of Ghana. They want to see his back, along with his deputies and all the board of directors of the Bank of Ghana. They have indicated that on the 5th of September 2023, the year of our Lord, they will go on a demonstration. Yesterday, the PR of the Accra region of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Juliana Obeng, she had a statement indicating thus far how far. We'll get onto the conversation shortly. And what has the superintendent been talking about? Superintendent Juliana Obeng, what has she been talking about?
All right. Thank you for that, Johnny. On the 23rd of August, that's yesterday, a presser was released from the police. It says police statement on planned demonstration by the minority in Parliament. On 21st August 2023, the Accra Regional Command received a notice of public protest from the office of the minority leader. The letter indicated that the minority in Parliament, in collaboration with some others, intend to embark on a public protest to demand the resignation of the governor, deputy governor, and board of directors of the Bank of Ghana. The organizers further gave the proposed route for the protest as follows: from the frontage of Parliament House, through Osu Cemetery traffic lights, Ministry of Finance, High Court Complex, Kimbu, Makola, Rawlings Park, Opera Square, then to the Bank of Ghana. Upon receipt of the notice, police undertook security assessment of the chosen routes and the destination for picketing. Following the security assessment, on 23rd August 2023, the command engaged the organizers and assured them that the police are ready to provide them the needed security to exercise their constitutional right to demonstrate. However, police drew their attention to the fact that using their selected routes may endanger public order and public safety, amongst others. We therefore requested the organizers to relocate the routes and destination of picketing in the interest of public order, public safety, and running of essential services. The police are waiting to hear from the organizers to enable us provide them the necessary security during the protest. We would like to assure the public that the police will continue to deliver on our mandates as we work together to deepen our democratic credentials as a country. Signed again by the PRO Superintendent Juliana Obeng.
So that was Juliana Obeng, 34 minutes after 8 here on 3FM 92.7. This is Sunrise. My name is Johnny Hughes, and the MP for Bawku Central, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, will join us shortly. But yesterday had this to say after their meeting with the police administration. Take a listen.
It's obvious that they want to frustrate us, but we will not relent. We will not accept it. We're going to go by our original route, and we will not allow them to stop us. It means that on that day, we are going to go according to what we have presented to them. That's what we're going to do. We'll converge at the Parliament House, pass through the Osu traffic light, then Ministry of Finance, then we get to Kimbu area, then we pass through Makola, and then to the Central Bank, and present our petition to the governor there. That's what we're going to do. No law in this country gives them the authority to physically prevent us. They know if they want to prevent us, they know how to do that. They don't do it physically.
That's the MP for Bawku Central, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, joins us now on the telephone line. Honorable, good morning. Thank you very much indeed for your time, sir.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I am greater than Accra. You?
Well, as you can see, our finances are being mismanaged. Inflation is at unacceptably high rate. Businesses cannot borrow. When they borrow at very high interest rate. They have to transmit the interest rate to our consumers like us. And so prices are skyrocketing. And whilst we are going through this trauma, we have a governor and a deputy governor who have chosen to go and use over 222 million United States dollars to build offices for their own comfort, totally abandoning their basic responsibility to regulate the financial sector in such a way that banks have money to lend at low interest rates so that the economy can function well. And when you say that such, incompetent, incapable, irresponsible leaders should leave office, at least say your basic right is to protest. Even that one you cannot enjoy. So that is how it is. So I can't tell you that it is well.
Now, the police insist that you have chosen a route to embark on your demonstration, but the police say it will not augur well for us in terms of our security and safety and for them to provide the needed protection for you. You insist that you will go with what you have planned. That will be chaotic, wouldn't it?
Again, it is only an incompetent police that will say what they are saying. The taxpayers' money that is given to them every month for their comfort and sustenance, what they are supposed to give in exchange for what we are taxed and used to pay them is to make sure that we enjoy our constitutional right to demonstrate along any route that we choose to demonstrate. And it is their responsibility to make sure that those demonstrating demonstrate safely, and that those who have properties along the route that they are demonstrating, their property is also secure, and that people do not infiltrate the demonstrations to cause chaos. It is their constitutional responsibility. The routes that they are complaining about, they have issues with, are routes that I have participated in demonstrations. And we have used those same routes. And we demonstrated peacefully and successfully. Nothing happened. We have demonstrated and passed through Makola before. I'm sure at the media house,
that's right,
in existence those days, you covered those demonstrations.
That's right.
We have demonstrated and then passed by the Bank of Ghana. And I'm sure you covered those demonstrations.
That's right.
We ended up on that occasion at the Hearts Park. And we held a huge rally at the Hearts Park. I'm sure you covered those demonstrations.
Yes, right next to Art Center.
Exactly. So the fact is that there's no part of Accra here that, people cannot demonstrate through and demonstrate peacefully. And we, as a minority members of parliament, we are responsible citizens. If we lead a demonstration and there is any distraction to property, we will be affected equally. We have an interest in making sure that the demonstration is peaceful and successful. And so it is with that in mind that we chose the route that we chose. When we met them, they had an alternative route for us. They said we should go and start from Circle. And then march through the road from Circle to Accra Central. And then when we get to Adabraka, we should turn left and march through that route to City House. And then from City House, they wanted us to either turn left or continue up to Independence Square and then terminate the demonstration at Independence Square. And we said, look, the arguments you are making why you think we cannot go to the headquarters of the central bank, those arguments are contradicted by the route that you have given us. Number one, you are concerned about obstruction of property and then traffic and then threat to property and etc.
That's right.
And yet you are designating for us a longer route. And along those routes, there are also properties and commercial activities. From Circle up to Adabraka, up to City House, there are properties there and there are commercial activities. And we will take a longer time to march along that route. And the longer the demonstration, trust me, the higher the chances of more people joining the demonstration, and then you having an unmanageable number of people participating in the protest. That will overwhelm you, given what you say is your current capacity.
So, what do you see to be the real motive?
More importantly, you are saying that we can't go to Bank of Ghana because it's a security zone. First and foremost, there's no law that says the Bank of Ghana is a security zone. But even more interesting is the fact that you want us to demonstrate to City House. City House is the annex of Bank of Ghana. the workers of Bank of Ghana, some of them are at Bank of Ghana head office and some of them are at City House. So if the Bank of Ghana building is a security zone, City House is equally a security zone. So what is the logic of allowing us to demonstrate past City House and yet not to demonstrate the frontage of the main building of Bank of Ghana? So your argument is illogical and it's unreasonable. We have chosen a shorter route and then a most direct route to the Bank of Ghana building, and then we want the governor and his deputies to come down and come and meet us and take our petition and go back to their offices, and then we will also disperse. So we are not changing our route. That was the position that we took in relation to the police service.
What do you see as the real motive behind the police trying to redirect your route on this demonstration? Because you say it is laughable, if I could use that word. What do you see as the real motive?
Well, I mean, it is a game that the police play all the time. We've been here, we've carried out a lot of demonstrations before. I don't recall any particular demonstration in which the police have not tried to play games, to obstruct the demonstration, to stop it. Sometimes they go as far as going to court to get a court order to injunct you. If it is not about the route, it is about, there's another event and then we don't have enough men. The men are spread all over the country and this and that. And so we don't have enough men to provide you with protection. You know, it's always been a culture of the police to try and obstruct any effort by citizens to express themselves. But we will not relent. We insist we will march on the said date and we will march on the said route. And it is a job, the constitutional responsibility of the police to make sure that they are prepared to support us carry out our democratic rights.
If the Bank of Ghana governor, his deputies, and the board of directors resign tomorrow, would you still go ahead with the demonstration?
No. Why? The demonstration is calling for the resignation of the Bank of Ghana governor and his two deputies and his board. So if they resign, we have achieved our objective of holding them accountable for their mismanagement of the finances of this country. You see, the essence of democracy is to put power in the hands of ordinary citizens to hold their leaders accountable. It is not only during elections that you are accountable. In between elections, you are accountable. And democratic mechanisms such as protests, demonstrations, calling on leaders who have mismanaged public welfare to resign are mechanisms for holding them accountable. You don't wait for elections. You have to work every day to make sure that your citizen, your governance system works. So we will not relent. I hear people say it's an NDC MPP thing. It's not an NDC MPP thing. It is about the democracy. Today we are discussing a military coup in Niger. And look at how the citizens are overwhelmingly supporting the soldiers against ECOWAS, against France, against the whole world. They are ready to stand and die with their soldiers. Why? Because they felt that their democratically elected leaders have not lived up to their responsibilities of governing them well. How can you have a central bank governor in the midst of this suffering that Ghanaians are going through go and take over $222 million United States dollars to construct office for his workers to sit in when they already have workspace? How many workers do you have? You have the main Bank of Ghana building, you have the City House annex, you have regional offices. How many workers do you need at head office to go and spend $222 million when you have offices in the region? The banks are in the regions. The supervision is done in the regions where the banks are. Your regional offices have space. And yet you are going to take another $220 million United States dollars to go and construct additional office space. The whole idea that there is a structural defect at the headquarters is a big lie. It's a big lie. If there are any defects, they can be fixed at much, much lower cost. And then the facility will be used. So clearly,
are you saying this?
A wasteful leadership.
Are you saying this on authority from a professional point of view? Because according to the Bank of Ghana, they engaged the professionals who told them that they were sitting on the fault line. So I want to understand where you are coming from to debunk what the Bank of Ghana has said.
I'm saying that they should allow us to also send professionals. And the professionals will come back, I'm 100% sure, and tell you that whatever structural defects have emerged can be cured. And then the facility can continue to be used. So his predecessors sat there and worked and produced better results. He cannot come today and tell us that there are structural defects in the building and he cannot sit in that building. In any case, they have alternative space. They have City House. As he established that the space in City House has been totally utilized. They have regional offices. Those who are in charge of supervision, why didn't they go and sit and work from the regional offices where the banks are that they are supervising? So there are more efficient ways of structuring the labor force to achieve better results than burdening Ghanaians with an additional 250 million United States dollars. And when you build a structure of 250 million United States dollars, you will need correspondingly a huge amount of money every year to supervise, to maintain the building. And then what that means is that you have to charge the banks more fees for supervision. But then you are using it to maintain your office spaces and etc. And the banks will pass on the cost to consumers. So they will lend at higher interest rates. And then consumers, the businesses will also pass on the cost to those who buy their products. And then prices will become very, very high. West Africa here, Ghana is one of the most expensive, Accra is one of the most expensive cities to live because everything is just too expensive. And all that because the governor and his deputies are totally mismanaging the finances of this country, and we're holding them accountable, and please say we cannot do so. That will not happen in this country. We will demonstrate along those same routes. Who says that the people in Makola are not interested in the demonstration? They need to see that their leaders are up and doing about the wrongs of society. So that when some soldier comes, they will not support him. They will say, look, our leaders are up to the task. So go and remain in your barracks. This is the essence of what we are doing.
I see. Now, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, along with some top executive of the bank, have been trying to explain that really it's not a matter of incompetence, but we might have taken the report in the wrong way, and they're trying to explain to us that in spite of what has happened, they still have what it takes to administer their role as a central bank, trying to keep an eagle eye on all other banks in the country. How does that come to you?
Look, you registered a loss of over 60 billion Ghana. You now have a negative equity of over 55 billion. Today, if any of the banks that they are supervised, the indigenous banks, run into a crisis, the Bank of Ghana does not have money as lender of last resort to help them out of their crisis. Today, if the finance minister goes to the financial market domestically, treasury bills, to go and buy treasury bills and doesn't get money to pay workers at the end of the month, if they go to the Bank of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana does not have the liquidity to be able to help the finance minister out in an emergency. The president is, beating war drums. He and his colleagues are going to Niger. I can assure you and I can bet you that he doesn't have money to be able to finance the army to go to Niger. And his central bank is broke, insolvent, and totally incapable of supporting. That is where the Bank of Ghana is today. So they cannot tell us, in spite of the mess that they have created, they are in a position. Of course, they are regulated. So their regulatory functions, they can continue to do because those are determined by law. The law says a bank must do X, Y, Z. If you don't do it, you can be prosecuted, you can be hauled to court and then prosecuted. So when they issue regulatory instructions, all the banks will comply. And that is why they don't need an edifice to boost their authority. And I hear them say, other banks have built iconic buildings, Standard Chartered Bank, Eco Bank, and that bank, they all have iconic offices, and they must also have an iconic office. Those are commercial banks, and they use those buildings as part of their marketing drive. Central bank is central bank, established by law. Your powers are defined by law. Even if you go and sit in your village and you issue commands, the banks will comply. If you sit in any building and issue commands, the banks will supply because it's not the building they are looking at. It is what the law says. And that is what they respect, not the structure of your building. So the Bank of Ghana has absolutely no business wanting to use an edifice to bolster their image. So they clearly have misprioritized in terms of what they should be doing for the Republic of Ghana. If they had built a hospital at that cost, we will complain, but it's a hospital. They're not going to sit in the hospital. If they had built student hostels across the country, students cannot afford hostel fees. Some are paying 10,000, 20,000, 5,000. Students, if they had taken that 222 million and said we're investing in hostels in public universities across the country, every region, take $3 million and build a hostel, $5 million and build hostels, and then we will charge students a discounted amount so that they can have places to sleep, I would never have opened my mouth, even if I had issues with the pricing. But in this crisis, students are suffering, farmers are suffering. Look at fertilizer prices. Traders are suffering. Look at bank interest rates. Everybody is suffering. And then you, who is responsible for the financial sector, to make sure that we don't suffer the way we are suffering. After imposing suffering on us, you choose to go and use 222 million of our money to go and build comfort for yourself and say that you shouldn't leave office.
But they insist that they didn't start the project in this year. I mean, it started over time, about 2-3 years back, and that if the project were to have started this year, given the difficulties that we find ourselves in, they wouldn't have ventured or attempted at all. That's the explanation from the central bank.
At the time that they proposed to start the project, when they sent their proposal to the PPA, PPA looked at it and thought that they should do the project at 81 million United States dollars. PPA. And PPA are the experts, and it is part of their responsibility to check, procurement, make sure that they are reasonable, make sure they are efficient, make sure the price is right. And the PPA concluded, even at that time, that look, what you really need is to spend 81 million United States dollars. And they approved only 81 million United States dollars for them. What did they do? They went and sat there and manipulated and got the figure changed. And now we are looking at 222 million. They think that we are all idiots. So that the space increased. The space increased by about 25% or something, or 15%. The spatial increase.
Right.
And yet the price increased by 68%. The two are not observing. You claim that the space increased. Even your original price, they saw their original price was around 100 million, and then the PPA went and unfairly reduced it to 81 million for them. And then you say that you increase the space. But I've looked at it. You increase the space by 25%. Your price should also jump by 25%. You price the project in dollars. Tell me the dollar inflation. Tell me the dollar inflation. If you had priced it in cedis at 81 million in 2020 or something, and then today in 2023, you so mismanage the economy such that inflation is, at close to 50%, and you tell me because of that prices have increased, and that's why you are doing 200 million, I may understand, because of course I can see that your incompetence has led to prices increasing. But you price the thing in dollars. So on what basis are you increasing it astronomically to this price? So there are so many things wrong with the leadership there.
I see.
The only way to deal with the problem is to remove them. That's the only way.
Do you honestly believe that picketing for a day, and I'm wondering how many people you have in mind to attend this this demonstration, but do you honestly believe that picketing for a day will change anything at all in the life of the Bank of Ghana?
We didn't say the picketing is going to be just for a day. We've mentioned a date when we are going to demonstrate. Demonstration, you go, if it doesn't achieve results, we decide on the next strategy. So do let us have this expression of our position and then hear what the governor will say, whether he will insist on remaining in office, then we'll tell him our next step. But as I indicated, we will not relent until he leaves office. He and his deputies, he and his 2 deputies must leave office, and we are not going to relent.
I see. Honorable, I thank you very much indeed for your time. And of course, we'll be there on the 5th of September to cover the demonstration, as always.
Thank you.
That's the Honorable Mahama Yariga. He's the MP for Bawku Central. My Ghana. Isela Tufosin is here.
We in the NDC saw the red flags and have consistently warned of the mismanagement of the financial sector by the governor of the central bank and his team of incompetent deputies. This mismanagement was anchored on the jaundiced supervision by Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, who is the brain behind the MPP's economic mismanagement team. This report depicted the catastrophic decline of the Central Bank of Ghana into a bottomless pit. The report revealed the following astonishing facts. 1. The Bank of Ghana recorded a staggering loss of 60.8 billion Ghana cedis, which is equivalent of $6 billion US. This is twice the amount we are to receive from the recent IMF bailout. 60 billion Ghana cedis, representing $6 billion US, meaning this is twice the amount we'll be asking the IMF to give to us. Countless occasions that the Bank of Ghana has been on a dangerous trajectory, and indeed, it has now become a crime scene with the dire consequences for us all. Fellow countrymen and women, after the inept and clueless finance minister overborrowed and got Ghana locked out of the capital market due to our unsustainable debt obligations, the NPP government chose the easy, reckless, lazy, and criminal path of printing money. Dr. Ernest Addison, who is now known as the printer of money, has conspired with members of economic mismanagement team led by Alhaji Dr. Bawumia and the inept finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta, aka One Program, One Bond, to destroy Ghana's central bank. After this dastardly act of overlending to the government by the central bank, they then proceeded to do the unthinkable. And the unthinkable is to write off a whopping 48.4 billion Ghana cedis, about half of Ghana's government indebtedness to the central bank, without parliamentary approval. This is illegal and criminal, and the NDC members of parliament will not allow this to pass. In fact, we will resist this. Directors' remuneration alone, this represents about 87% increase over the previous year's expenditure. Directors' remuneration, 8.6 million Ghana cedis. If you are to compare this to the previous year, this represents 87% increase over the previous year. This simply means that Ghanaians were charged a mismanagement fee to deliver the collapse of the central bank. The Bank of Ghana further claimed to have spent a colossal 357.9 million Ghana cedis on banking supervision expenses for the year 2022 alone. The report further disclosed that the Bank of Ghana spent a whopping 67.9 million Ghana cedis on computers expenses alone, whilst communication expenses also amounted to 32 million Ghana cedis. Communication alone, just to meet the press, they spent 32 million Ghana cedis for 1 year, the year 2022. The report further disclosed that an undisclosed expense of 287.8 million Ghana cedis was paid, undisclosed.
Okay.
I wish, you know what, I wish we...
You know, I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you because I can almost imagine what you are going to say. Like, you can't wrap your head around the issue big.
A lot of different angles. Yeah. But for me, I wish the police would change that directive that they have to not speak with us. The reason why I'm saying this is that this is not the first time that we're seeing the police seek to reroute a group of persons, groups, whatever, seeking to demonstrate, and they'll often say it's because of public order and so on and so forth. This would be a good opportunity to maybe break it down for us, because I'm sure a lot of logistics go into how they come about rerouting and what those issues are, so that if we had a PRO with us on morning radio, we can get further and better particulars. Then we can also understand, because if it's going to be the case that every time a group wants to demonstrate or picket, then it's almost a knee-jerk reaction. I was only waiting for the police to say, yes, you can go ahead, but we want you to go this way, that way. That defeats the impact of the demonstration. So sometimes I tune into police TV to see if I can get some of the answers that I'm seeking. I don't see.
I honestly think that is because they want to grow police TV. That's why they don't want to talk to the media. It's as simple as that. Because I don't really get the sense in trying to centralize all communication at the headquarters when you have different PROs in the different regions and districts and whatever it is who are paid. So when they go to their place, they are supposed to be conveyor belts and to repeat what the headquarters have said. That's an insult even to the police officers who hold those positions. I mean, in this country where we say decentralization is the way forward, you get an IGP who comes to say, I want to centralize everything. What I see from where I sit is that they just want to grow police TV. That's why they are doing what they are doing. Finish. That's all.
So but when I've tuned into some of the pertinent questions that we would love to, that's also not on the police TV.
It's a PR tool. I mean, we used to do you and the police here. And we used to do you and the police, so we gave the public a chance to also have their say on what the police told us, right? We used to have a whole program for them, weekly program, you and the police. And then they brought in this police TV thing. They won't speak to anybody, and they would be in their corner and write statements. And if I had my own way, I would not even read a statement from the police.
You want them to go and paste it on our individual
walls? Yes, they should go and I'll blacklist them. If I had an opportunity over all the media in Ghana, I'll blacklist the police.
Because we've had fruitful discussions
we have seen
police.
IGPs and police administrations in the past. Why is Dan Parry bigger than Peter Naufuri? Is it bigger than Walen Kaki? Is it bigger than Portaria Kwe? Is it bigger than Mills Robertson? Is it bigger than P2 or Pombueno? What are you talking to me about?
There
have been police Magite and there have been police IGPs in this country. How did they do it? It's a question of leadership and control and direction. If you have policemen under you who are killing policemen in bullion van robberies, you think that trying to concentrate information and communication at one point will kill the narrative? It won't kill the narrative. We are not stupid. We will not forget. We will not forget. What is where from this directive? Then you say the police is your friend, but the police cannot talk to you.
You cannot also talk to the police.
You cannot talk to the police. The police will talk to you through written statements.
So now that we want a breakdown of these issues, to make it clear for us,
you ain't getting it.
Do we wait for another statement that gives a breakdown? We've had fruitful conversations with police PROs.
Something happens in the Ashanti region.
Yes.
I have to wait for all the back end channels to be done. So DSP Ahianyo will write whatever it is. They will ask him, well, give us something. Then he will write. Then they will bring it to Accra. Accra will look at it. Now Accra will issue a statement. All right, what's the name? Madam Akrofi.
That's right.
Akrofi said she will write a statement, and then we will read the statement, and that's it. Was Madam in Kumasi? The people in the Ashanti region, the people in Boku, the people in wherever it is, they feel they know what's going on there. So I actually don't get the sense in trying to centralize all of this. And from where I say, what I see is that they're just trying to grow police TV. Finish. Nothing more, nothing less.
For me, beyond growing the police TV, I'm just wondering what analysis the police did to decide not to speak directly with the media. I mean, in the past, people will be arrested for all kinds of things, and then the way the media will report it, I mean, the language we use, individuals will be put there as 3 armed robbers arrested. Maybe they are not armed robbers, instead of using the right word to say suspected armed robbers and that kind of thing, to the point that now even the police is covering the faces of suspects. And this is a conversation that we could have had with the police to say that, look, you guys, the way you report
We don't like
is
it
affecting
this way,
our
do
work.
this, we do it that
Because
way.
we investigate, and sometimes the way you come out, it scatters the investigation, for which reason we need to engage more so that we'll get the language right, we get the posture right. That's what I was expecting. And if things don't improve, then you say, look, now I think you are making our work difficult, so we are going to go this way. One-way traffic, we get our stories, we'll put out a statement. Whatever you want to ask will be in the statement. But I don't remember we've had that forum.
No,
and
we've
we've
not
had that
that
discussion.
forum. We've not had that
and
forum.
so now the posture is as if you can't do it right. So now clear off our way and let's do it the way we want. Well, it's PR, you decide what to say, but it is a police institution where there must be a mix of you speak, I speak, there are questions, you answer, and then we move on.
It is a police institution, not a private biscuit factory.
Because you have even moved from the police force to a police service.
Yes, so
it is
your
no
posture
more
should
where,
be totally different.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
first we used to have a police force, now it's
Yes.
a police service. The service, you cannot serve me and not talk to me. It doesn't work like that.
It is not. That's what I'm saying. It is not a private biscuit factory.
So at the end of the day,
You understand?
Yeah.
I think
It's
this conversation should be, maybe we have to report officially, GJ or all the media houses should come together, make a report to the Interior Minister and say, look, it's also affecting our work. If there are things that we are doing wrong, it's a human institution. The police is also a human institution. We can sit down, point out the shortfalls and see how we can fill things up and then move, because sometimes it's frustrating.
But what? So, for example, Mamiya Tiwa Ado Danko as CID boss in the Takrady Girls Matter organized the press conference and told us that they know where the girls are. They will bring them home, and we should keep on keeping on. Did we put a gun to anybody's head to say that?
No.
And then if we cover that, and then later the girls are not found, we're told that the girls are dead, and we asked you, but you said you knew where the girls are, that you were going to bring them, unite them. Why haven't you brought you that? Then
I'm sure all those informed
yes, but you
the
see,
top
but
management decision
But you see, William,
to now come with one voice, so that we don't get CID boss saying A, then operations boss saying, but I mean, we can only try and find out reasons. And these are cogent
but the point is that
points where
we cannot be a conveyor belt for the police.
that's exactly the point I'm
We
making.
cannot
I'm
be
saying
a
that
conveyor belt for them.
in dealing with the police, it's not everybody.
So the way the police is dealing with us now, it's as if we have no mind of our own. Because our job as journalists is to ask why. Our job as journalists.
But they have also made mistakes in the past.
Yes,
The police, and maybe
grievous
they are
mistakes.
trying. They are trying to cure that.
So you have made grievous mistakes. We are working together. As William said, has there been a forum? I mean, back in the day, we used to say on radio, TV, oh, the person is mad, or the person is this. Then there's the health service people came.
There's a way to
mental
go
health,
about
don't
it.
say they are mentally challenged. They are persons living with disability.
Exactly.
Don't say cripple. Say person living. I mean, it took effort. Star Ghana, everybody we went to. So these days, you don't hear people saying, "Oh, he's a mad person," or "He's a cripple." So he's a person living with disability. He's a person living with albinism. He's a mentally challenged individual. So there's a way to go about it if you want it. So you guide people through it. I mean, our reporters at the court, our reporters in parliament, they are guided through it.
So simply being quiet will not help us actually chart the way
Yes,
forward.
because if you are quiet, there's somebody in a rural radio station somewhere who has also audience of farmers and whatever it is. And this morning, you say you will not talk to him. It's okay, brilliant. So he's misinforming the people. So what are you doing? There's no communication in this world that is one way. Communication is a two-way thing. Anybody who has done any kind of communication knows that it's a two-way thing. There's a sender, there's a receiver, in between there's a channel. All right? And then there's feedback or there's noise. It's a basic Harold Laswell, the Laswell model. Basic. And you encode, you send it through a channel, and then the person decodes and gives you feedback. If there's no feedback, it means that person didn't understand it. If there's noise, you know that then you didn't communicate. It's basic. So now you put a press statement out there, and you expect that, okay, it will be understood the way you meant it. And if you look at the way the press statement was written, it was written as if we were writing the minutes of a last general meeting that was held. I mean,
This conversation.
How did we become jokers like this?
But I definitely understand what William is saying. If as a two-way street, we've not found a way for it to be seamless, by all means, one party can then decide, let me retreat, so that the communication is no longer noisy or messy. But I think there's a way to go about it. We've been iced out completely.
Another way we can look at, as I said, there's this freedom of information act law.
That's right.
That we can compel. Right
to
information. I think recently the police, they were charged some amount of money for not releasing.
That is correct.
So there are avenues that we can use to compel them to speak. So that tells us that they are not a law unto themselves.
That's right.
So that conversation, I think that the GJA should take it up. But beyond that, the Bank of Ghana issue for me is still on the table. And during the week, I remember I have said that this governor has looked at things in a way that have affected all of us. Look at the way they handled the banking crisis. They literally sat aloof for these banks to go down. They were lending the money and they were misusing the money. That's number one. And so when they do that, they print more money to give them back. And there'll be so much money in the system. And when there's so much money, chasing fewer goods, of course, that's the simplest explanation we can give to inflation.
That's right.
Now then they go and then increase, they do inflation targeting and then give us high base rates, and then the interest rates will go up so that we will suffer for them to mop up the inflation. And that's what this whole thing is about. We heard about the governor say that their reserves were challenged because the Eurobonds were not coming. Is that what we are supposed to use?
In fact, he said because we were not able to replenish.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So do we have to go and borrow to replenish our reserves?
Yeah.
If that's what we are doing, then it means the economy is in a very critical condition. We're supposed to be producing and putting value behind our city. As we speak, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and other countries, BRICS, they are meeting in South Africa, trying to see how they can throw the dollar away.
That's right.
And trade among themselves using their own local currencies and making sure that they direct their own economies. Because look, India is so big when it comes to the population, when it comes to the economy, even technology. Why should they wait for a dollar and only America to determine what? That even those big countries are thinking about how to make their currency strong. China,
they
Russia.
say Saudi Arabia is coming on board. This is breaking news. Iran coming on board.
You are just sitting down, don't do anything, and then you are just printing money.
In fact, UAE also showing a desire to get involved in BRICS.
And our president is there. And Ghana, whether we join or not, we don't know, because of the way we are also connected to the West. We are going to Eurobond, every Eurobond. So we don't know whether we will join. But these are the conversations that we should have. So if the minority says that they are going to demonstrate, I don't think where they pass or where they don't pass will be the issue. The issue is that the demonstrators will just be disciplined, and you, the police, come and just protect them. That's your responsibility. At the end of the day, if they are saying that pass here and I'm not going to pass here, if we are not careful, some of these things just explode.
You know what happened the other time when there's a demonstration? I've forgotten which demonstration it was, but it was obvious from what we saw at the Nkrumah Circle, right, on the overpass. It was obvious that the people who were sent out as police people were not qualified. And
why do you say that, Johnny?
William knows what I'm going to talk about. You see, if you see an officer with pegs on the shoulder, right, it has a meaning. So 2 pegs, 2 stars will be an ASP. Okay. Right, and it's metallic. Okay. Or it is embroidered. If you see a plain white embroidery, complete, it's not black and white or silver and black, but it's all white, and it is just 1 star on it, and then the hat, right, has also all white on it. It means that person is a trainee. That person has not passed out. The pictures are there. So when you send people who are under training to go and meet serial demonstrators like Bernard Mona, what are you doing? That's why among the police, when somebody took a tear gas, you remember that? They tried to throw it into the crowd. In fact, and it fell right in the center of where the police was congregated. You send police schoolboys to go and meet with serial demonstrators. You are joking. So when you tell the people, don't use this route, that route, and you give them as and as Honorable Ayariga has said, the places you're asking us to go actually makes the walk longer, and it also puts their properties and whatever it is, because at some point we the leaders may not be able to what do you call it, to shepherd the people, because Charlie, we have a certain endurance level. What prevents them from guiding them through where they say they want to?
And that's why if we have the police here, they can maybe put certain
What
facts
prevents
to
them?
what they're saying, because now
the
the whole conversation deviates from
the last
the root
demonstration
cause.
I covered. I've forgotten, but they were wearing red.
Was it NAPCO? Or was it NAPCO?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't NAPCO.
Didn't have that numbers, but it was NDC and some
Remember
other
watching
groupings.
you.
Yes, in Nkrumah Circle.
Yeah.
We went through Makola. We went through Makola. We went all the way to CMB. In fact, we went through CMB. In fact, in front of Central. Then we branched into the what do you call it? The Tudu area through Kimbu. Came towards what do you call the place? Bring your mind. The Kimbu Gardens, the AMA, and then through parts of the ministries, and then we came to end a parliament. Who caused trouble?
See, the point I made is what you are also cementing. You are actually concretizing and then firming up. I'm saying that it is not where you pass or where you don't pass. It is for the demonstrators to be disciplined and the police to be professional. Simple. Because if we don't do this and you even go and create highway, nobody on the highway for them, and you say they should pass there. If the police are not, disciplined, the demonstrators are not disciplined, there'll be clashes. They say pass here. I mean, while the demonstration is going on, don't go here, don't throw stones, don't do that. I mean, the media is there, we are covering everything. We go prison. That should be a very simple thing.
But it's not going to be simple, because now what we've seen is, if you are listening to Honorable Ayaraga, he says we are going to pass the route that we want, and the police say pass here. Then all of a sudden,
that shouldn't be.
The actual import of
That
what is
shouldn't
going
be,
on
because-
gets lost in all of the conversation.
Because there are underlying, anger issues. People are angry
That's
at the
right.
system, angry because they are hungry, and so the police should also be circumspect. This is not a demonstration for any other thing, but it's bread and butter matter.
Yes.
And so when you are dealing with it, you should be very careful, because we've seen Kumi Preku. Kumi Preku only meant that the system was so hard that people were ready to die,
And that is why I'm telling you
and
that.
people died.
And that's why I'm telling you that in
You know?
1995,
So
when we had Kumi Preku, if you like, the arguably the biggest demonstration to have ever happened in the Fourth Republic, right? When we had Kumi Preku, we had an IGP, right? That IGP did not centralize communication. In fact, at the time, we didn't even have social media. We had newspapers like The Voice, Crusading Guide, Ghanaian Times, Chronicle, William, help me.
the guide itself.
The Guide itself, what do you call it, Insight newspaper, and a couple of others. Because my dad used to buy them, so I used to read it. That's how come I do The Voice. I think The Voice is collapsed also.
Yeah,
It's
Bibi
collapsed.
Ansaba. I think
Yes.
Bibi Ansaba came
Yes.
to hold it for some time.
So around that time, we had these ones. Yet there was a police administration that shepherded it. We didn't see statements going up and down like that. And that's where the pain comes from, because the people who led the demonstration, bless his soul, Mr. Victor Newman is dead. But he was
from Ekropong.
part of the demonstrators. Kumi Preku. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was part of
Kwesi
the
Pratt.
Kwesi Pratt, Kakaba Cromwell. They were all part of the demonstrators. They are still in this country. They have not gone anywhere. So when a serial demonstrator like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is now in the chair, and his IGP, who so appointed and who goes to him with daily briefings, is now telling others through his spokespersons that he has designated to speak to us one way, are telling people that, they can't use this route, use this route. In 1995, when they said they were going to use a certain route, come through Kandishi, and I saw them through Kandishi, the main Kandishi road. Who stopped them? Who stopped President Akufo-Addo? Who stopped them?
If the IGP is going to go
Who
that
stopped
way,
them?
another way that we can also solve this problem is to boycott what they did, because the IGP is very, very camera excited.
Right.
He likes to be in the camera.
And that's why I say let's blacklist them.
So when he goes somewhere, he sees the cameras, you see him waving his hand.
And I say let's blacklist them.
and then
if I had my own way,
because then
Johnny, is that
if
not
you
a
issue-
bit too
No,
harsh?
if you issue
William,
the statement,
what William
if you
is
issue
saying,
the statement,
Yes.
where should the statement be read?
because your police TV doesn't command millions
That's
of
where
followers.
nowhere. You have your social media.
Your social media page is not bigger than that of Belamundi or mine. Your Facebook page is not bigger. That's
That's
that
right.
of Kukiti or Roland Walker. So when you publish it, sometimes when they publish things there, they either have to come and tag you, or people tag you, and then you go and
When
see
you
it.
issue the statement, where do you want it to be published? The people that you don't want to talk to. So there should be a rethinking around this matter. It's a very simple direction I'm giving because it's quite frustrating.
William, that's what
It
I'm
is.
saying. That me, if I had my own way,
You say you blacklist.
I'll black it. When you do your statement, read it at the headquarters. Keep it.
Oh,
Yes, keep
you
your
won't
statement.
have any media house posted on their pages,
But
socials.
Keep your statement. But you think that you can do a one-way communication. When you publish the statement, keep
If you're
it.
a reporter and your editor is directing you and you don't want to, you said you will publish the story in your stomach.
Yes. You keep your story. You publish it for your parents to see it at home. Keep it. So you take a decision that you will not speak to any media. And
Right.
there's over 400 media houses, 500 in fact, media houses in the country. You say you won't speak to any of the media houses. You only write a statement and give to the people to go and read. Why? Are we conveyor belts? I mean, if I had my own way, I controlled all the media, I will blacklist the police. Let them put me
Because,
on this
look,
one. I will blacklist them. I won't publish anything from them. And we'll see
We've-
how they
we've-
will go
we've-
about their
We've
duties.
worked with very great police public relations directors like Mr. Eklu, Mr. Kwesi Fori, and our own, the one who passed, the very popular one who went to MTTD, Awuni. We've worked with all these PRs, and now we don't even know the image of the police PRO because it doesn't interact with the press. How do you have a police PRO who doesn't interact with the press? It doesn't work like
And
that.
the first rule about public relations is that the public relations person has to be known.
That's right.
So you are a public relations person. You need to have a relationship. It is deliberate, it is planned, it is paid for. What are you talking to me about?
A very lost opportunity.
What kind of PR are we?
A
are we
lost
planning?
opportunity
And
on
you know,
this
and you know what hurts
occasion.
me? The people who are managing PR there are my friends and my colleagues at IPR. We are on the same
You
page.
say you blacklist them.
Oh, but they know what the rules of the game are. So if you are deciding that you're going to do a one-way communication, even those who do one-way communication, they even do frequently ask questions on their website. Does the police do frequently ask questions? Do they have anything of the sort?
Maybe if we tune into Police TV, you see something there.
Let's hear from you. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. After the break, we'll get to hear from you. Stay with us. This is Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.